What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, AskTheBrain, and you're watching The Couch. Welcome to my Week 7 waiver wire pickups video. Get your iPad ready, your legal pad ready, your Etch-a-Sketch, whatever. Get ready to take notes, and let's get that W for Week 7. This past week, the Dolphins responded well with the coaching change, and the bye week came out with that lopsided victory against the Tennessee Titans. The Lions got their first win. Stafford and Megatron had a great game. The Panthers upset the Seahawks in Seattle, and Eddie Lacy got 3 fantasy points. 3. In this video, I'm going to go over the waivers, of course, then answer the Twitter question of the week in our hashtag AskTheBrain segment, and why not do another giveaway and have a question at the end for you, so make sure you stay tuned throughout the whole video. The teams on bye this week are the Bears, Bengals, Broncos, and Packers. These are the quarterbacks to pick up this week. Ben Roethlisberger, an obvious pickup. Some people dropped him. This is more likely in shallow leagues and in leagues where they don't have a lot of bench spots. He should be coming back in a week or two. There's speculation he may come back this week, but more than likely he'll be back the following week, Week 8. Kind of the same deal with Tyrod Taylor. Some leagues may have dropped him. He's a must pickup, should be owned in every league, and he's proven that he's a QB1 in fantasy. If you're really struggling for quarterback, look for Ryan Fitzpatrick or Brian Hoyer. And if you need more of a stash, look for Jameis Winston or Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a somewhat sneaky start, but with all, he's not that great, obviously. And with all the injuries in Washington, Deshaun Jackson, Jordan Reed, etc., he's not that great of a pick. And in dual QB leagues and deeper leagues, look for EJ Manuel if Tyrod Taylor is out. Also, Matt Castle and Landry Jones is likely to be the starter this week for the Steelers. For running backs, Jonathan Stewart's actually been dropped in shallow leagues like 8-man and 10-man leagues. Might as well pick him up. Kristen Michaels, nothing but upside for this guy. He needs to be picked up in just about every league. When you got a running back that can be a starter with a great offensive line, you got to pick him up. One of the biggest fantasy woes this week and recently has been Eddie Lacy. You have to pick up James Starks, should be owned in every league. Ronnie Hillman is on a bye. Now, he's getting more offensive snaps than CJ Anderson, and he's the better running back. So he should be owned in pretty much every league as well. Not a great game for the Chiefs last week as far as fantasy goes, but Charkandrick West is still worth a pickup. He's likely going to be the RB1, the starting running back on the Chiefs, and any starting running back on a team is worth a pickup in fantasy. Washington has a ton of injuries, and Alfred Morris gets a huge boost in value if Matt Jones and Chris Thompson are out. I mentioned a lot of these guys before. Robert Turbin becomes relevant. Not a great pickup, but if you're in a deep league or need to add depth to that running back spot, which a lot of teams do, it's hard to find a running back, look for Robert Turbin on the Cleveland Browns. Tennessee Titans running back David Cobb is going to return pretty soon, expected to return pretty soon, and look for him as a good stash. A lot of people don't know about this guy. He'll be slept on the waiver wire. Again, keep tabs on the injuries with Washington. Wow, that team is just so decimated with injuries right now. Also, Zach Stacy may be worth a pickup in deeper leagues if Bilal Powell is out. And Toby Gerhart, Jonas Gray, and Chris Polk are worth a look at in deeper formats as well. For wide receivers, I had to put Diggs up there at top of the list. Then we got Dez Bryant, should be coming back week 8 to week 11, maybe even sooner. Keep tabs on Deshaun Jackson's hamstring injury. I mentioned a lot of these guys before. Marvin Jones now becomes a real good fantasy pickup. He's always been a sleeper I had. Not a guy I usually ended up drafting, but maybe I wish I did now. He's got 12 targets last week, and he had a really good game. He's definitely worth a pickup, but keep in mind he is on bye. Brandon LaFell should be returning from injury real soon and should be the number 2 wide receiver over there in the Patriots, right behind Julian Edelman. Michael Floyd seems healthy, definitely worth a pickup. Not too high on Kamar Aiken anymore now that Steve Smith is back, but he's likely going to be the wide receiver 2 for the Ravens. Their defense hasn't been playing that well, so Flacco's going to have to throw the ball a bit. So I really like Kamar Aiken, but only in deeper leagues or as like a wide receiver 5 on your team. Not a guy you want to start unless you're devastated with a severe, unless you're really hurting from bye weeks or injuries. And look for Brian Walters and Albert Wilson in deeper formats if Allen Robinson and Jeremy Maclin are out. There's actually a ton of tight ends to pick up this week. Gary Barnett should be owned in every single league. Benjamin Watson, is that a one-hit wonder right there? I don't think so. Now, I don't expect games like this all the time for him. Breeze is going to throw the ball around, and the winning formula for the Saints is to run the ball with Ingram. Get a little bit of Kyrie Robinson involved, a little bit of Spiller involved there. But I think Benjamin Watson is going to be really good. Maybe not a tight end 1, but a high-end tight end 2 at least. Keep tabs on Jordan Reed and Derek Carrier. I mentioned the injuries on Washington before. Austin Seferian-Jenkins may be coming back really soon. Larry Donnell's worth a pickup in most leagues. I'm still a fan of Crockett Gilmore. Not as high as I used to be on him because Ravens aren't really that great of a team. Yeah, it's hard to really predict what's going to happen with them. I like Steve Smith and I like Justin Forsett, but other than that, not too many people to like on that Ravens offense. Ladarius Green, still fantasy relevant as long as Stevie Johnson is out. And Kyle Rudolph, maybe if you're really struggling for a tight end or 14-man league or deeper, he's okay. And for deeper formats, you really need a tight end too. Look for Jacob Tamme or maybe even Jermaine Gresham. Obviously not too high on Gresham here, but I just put that guy on the list for some of you in really deep leagues. And here are the defenses to pick up. I keep this in mind. The defense is how I rank them for long term as one of the major factors, as well as for a spot start for this week if you need to stream a defense. Now, Rams defense actually isn't owned in every league. They're really good. They're good for this week and for long term. They should be owned in every league. Miami Dolphins, man, they really came back. Who knows if they'll keep it up? I think they're going to be playing better than they have the first 4 weeks. They're definitely worth a pickup. And the Texans offense, not a bad offense, but it could be a windy game. And hey, we like the Dolphins D before the season because of the sacks they can get. Their D line and Grimes, the cornerback. So might as well pick them up, especially in deeper leagues. You got the Panthers, Washington. That's a pretty decent defense overall for long term, and I like them this week going against rookie quarterback Jameis Winston. Falcons D got a lot of hype, but I really do like them this week as they're going against the Tennessee Titans. Vikings not too bad this week. Don't love this defense or anything, but they're okay for this week and for long term as well. I like the Bengals D. I think they're pretty consistent, but keep in mind they are on bye. And in deeper formats, you can consider the Chargers, Niners, Steelers going against the Chiefs. No Jamal Charles. Macklin is hurt, although I believe he's going to play, but just monitor that status. Buccaneers defense is a super sleeper defense, not one that you want to be confident in starting. And have the Giants defense. Not a great D, but they're going against Dallas. Super risky there. Can't wait to see what Dallas is going to do on offense. No more Whedon, Romo's hurt, and Christian Michaels may be the starting running back. So can't wait to see what's going to happen in that game. For kickers, we have Josh Brown, Chris Boswell. Wow, this guy's pretty exciting as far as fancy kickers go on the Steelers. I think this is their 4th kicker this year. They had a lot of injuries at the kicker position, and then they fired Josh Scobie. The fantasy world really likes Chris Boswell. Josh Lambo, decent kicker on the Chargers for sure. And the Saints let go of their kicker Zach Hawker, signed Kai Forbath. This game Vegas has slated to be the highest scoring game of the week. So a high scoring game, we got the Saints, Kai Forbath, not too bad of a kicker. He's pretty accurate. That could be a really good sneaky start at kicker if you have, let's say, Mason Crosby on bye or something like that. When it comes to the safest, least riskiest kicker, there's no one better than Chandler Catanzaro. Also look for Dustin Hopkins, Carpenter, Greg the Leg Zerline, Graham Gano, pretty safe guy right there. If you want to go super risky, you can go Sebastian Janikowski. Whether it be on Instagram, Twitter, or below in the YouTube comments, if you have a question that you want answered on the video, make sure you use hashtag AskTheBrain. Let's hop on Twitter and answer the question of the week. And Ryan on Twitter wants us to pick 2 of these players. So pick 2, Doug Martin, Dion Lewis, Lamar Miller, a PPR, hashtag AskTheBrain. I actually project these 3 running backs to be really close this week. This is really tough. You got to go with Lewis. Now, the only reason you wouldn't go with Lewis is the injury status, so you try to monitor that. Of course, it's hard because he's a Patriot, and they're pretty secretive with everything they do, but you got to go with Lewis, especially because it's a PPR league. Now, the injury shouldn't affect him that much this week. We saw it affect him in week 6, but it should not affect him really in week 7. So just keep tabs on that. But Lewis is my number 1 guy, actually. My number 2 guy would be Lamar Miller. You got to go with him. I think the matchup is better. And like I said, it's really close. And you can really exchange Lamar Miller and Doug Martin. But I would go with Miller. And you definitely have to go with Lewis as long as he's playing. Last week I asked you guys how many points Gronk would get in PPR. He got 14 points, and congrats to Charles. He was the winner last week. He'll be winning sunglasses, boom, some stickers, oh yep, and we'll have the same contest this week. He gets 14.2, so congrats Charles. And here's the question for this week. We saw Jonathan Stewart finally have a decent game last week, surprisingly, against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. He had 2 touchdowns. Now, how many fantasy points will Jonathan Stewart get for week 7 PPR scoring? So leave a comment below with your answer. Make sure you use a decimal point. So let's say, for example, 18.1 or 15.0, something like that. Leave a comment below and we'll see who's the winner for next week. And that about wraps up this video. If you guys want my list of waivers that I mentioned in the video and get them before anyone else does, get them sent straight to your inbox every week, make sure you guys sign up for my VIP waiver wire list. Also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be coming out with the weekly waiver wire videos like these every week, of course, and my DFS daily fantasy football picks every week. So make sure you guys check out that VIP waiver wire list and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.